Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Campbell.
Welcome, everybody, to the NFC East and North Power Hours in Primetime. We got Will Vogel, and our first guy in the chat was Buddy Conquito saying hello, all. Good to see you both. Let's get into this. Von Doom, how have you been, sir?
I have been alive, sir. That's pretty much it, man. I'm still alive.
And we've got Mike representing the Vikings tonight. We got Ricky Scott saying good evening, folks. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well this evening, fellas. How y'all doing?
Fantastic. Well, let's rip Band-Aid off of the NFC East, because getting their fans to show up is like pulling teeth. If he's available, he's here. So I'm going to start off talking about the Eagles. According to Sporting News, Mike Morales, with an interview with NFL analyst Chris Kaufman, Philly has over $300 million per year in future salary debt because it's already paid, starting in the 2025-26 season. I think we may see them having to trade away assets as early as mid-season if they're not in winning the division contention. So I'm going to start with you, Von Doom. What do you think of that?
I love it.
I knew you'd say that.
I hope it guts their team.
Everybody was talking about all these bloated contracts this offseason, and I want to address that. The difference is those teams had moves to still have cap room left after. The Eagles didn't have that luxury, and they did that the year before after making it to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts and gave him a bloated contract, then re-signed A.J. Brown, now done the Saquon Barkley thing. It's not going to be a good look. Mike, what do you think about it?
I mean, I don't think it could have happened to a better team. I agree. Let's bankrupt them. Let's have a farm sale. Let's just wipe them out. It's their own stupidity. They did it to themselves. I can't give them any sympathy for the dumb actions that they do.
Right. I get it. Most of that is hurt. 100%.
It is.
Well, it was very backloaded in his contract, yes.
Right. Matt Henry comes in and says, good evening, fellas. And of course, Smoking Dad has entered the chat as well. Good to see everybody. My next team I wanted to talk about is the foreskins. I mean, the Commanders. Sports Illustrated, David Harris. Oh, look at this. Somebody just bounced back out and in. Let's get them in. Oh, it was Mike. Wonder.
Signal. Sorry about that. I lost signal. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. The Commanders, Sports Illustrated, David Harrison, beat writer, writes recent interview with Joe Theismann. Jaden Daniels isn't and shouldn't play in the preseason because he's their starter. And I get it. Matt Henry says the Eagles gave Devontae Smith a raise too. Yeah, let them keep paying these guys down the road ahead of time. Devontae Smith, they could have waited a year like we're doing with JMO and did the 5th-year option and then had another year to wait to clear up those 2 years of cap. They did it ahead of time, which means, well, they got Lucy, who got some explaining to do. But Dan, what do you think about the Commanders and what Joe Theismann said? Do you agree that he shouldn't play a snap in the preseason, or do you think he needs to get his feet wet in some game time?
I personally think he needs to get his feet wet with some game time there. You can't expect a rookie to go in there and just perform like C.J. Stroud did last year. It's not really realistic. Right. You want to give him as many snaps as he can with that first-team offense there in preseason, just so he can get accustomed to the speed of the game.
Right, because the only thing he'll be accustomed to is playing against his own team, because I don't even know if they scheduled a second team to come in for training prior to a preseason game. And besides, who would? I don't think they have to train to play against them.
No, I think the Redskins have an actually really good team that they did a lot of work to this year. So
I know.
Give them as much time as possible.
Right, I agree. Mike, what do you think about the Jaden Daniels comment made by Joe Theismann?
I mean, even if he comes in and plays, 1 or 2 series a preseason game, he has to get up to speed. There's nothing like going from practice to actual game time speed. You're going to have to get his timing correct. You're going to have to get his cadence correct. You're going to have to get everything, rolling before, week 1. If not, you just throw him to the wolves. He's going to look foolish, and that fan base over in Washington will turn on them real quick.
Amen. And now we're going to turn it over to Von Doom because he has the Cowboys subject for us tonight.
Oh, here's the best Cowboys subject ever. They still have Dak Prescott as a quarterback, and they're dog trash.
I agree.
I hate the Cowboys. There was nothing good coming out of there. They got an 80-year-old running back, a senile owner, and a $60 million quarterback who can't win in the playoffs. What else do we need to say?
Hey, the best thing that ever came out of Dallas, right?
Debbie?
I-35.
Oh, I-35. Oh. All right, Mike, what is your take on Dallas? And then I'll give mine.
I have absolutely nothing good to say about them. I'm glad they're going to overpay Dak. I'm glad they brought Ezekiel Elliott back. I am glad they're doing all these dumb things because it's just going to make, the Houston Texans, win the, AFC. And, I'm from Houston. I was born and raised in Minnesota. My hat will always hang there. But it's a bad rivalry. You get anywhere halfway between Houston and Dallas. It's like the Mason-Dixon line. So, I want to see him falter. He's absolutely correct. You got a senile owner who won't let go of, control. They brought Mike Zimmer in as a defensive coordinator, which I am absolutely ecstatic about. So let's every team in the NFC just burn them for everything we can.
Amen. Well, my take on Dallas is in the regular season, they are a juggernaut. I don't care how bad everybody thinks their team is. In the regular season, they beat up on teams. Now, normally, once they face like a really, really good team like last year versus San Francisco, they get their butt handed to them. Miami even beat them on the road, which told me they weren't that good of a team. Playoff-wise, Miami didn't beat a single other good team than that. Food for thought. Well, but at the same time, I bet you they'll end up winning 10 or more games. Just because of the sheer talent on the roster, not because they're coached well, not because anything is that outstanding. Dak Prescott is basically Dak Cousins, Kirk Prescott. They're the same player. They will take your team through the regular season and get you to the playoffs and fail once they get there. That is what we've seen their entire career.
I will say this on a positive note with Dallas this year. They addressed their offensive line and their defensive lines through the draft. They did very well on those picks with Marshawn Nealon and Cooper Beebe.
100%, because that's what they. And you know what's funny? Everybody said, "Oh, Marshawn Nealon won't be there with our third round pick." Guess what? Dallas pick used to get Marshawn Nealon. The line they traded him to get Terrion Arnold. But yes, you are 100% right. Buddy Kinkigo comes in and says the rest are Dallas best friends. Yep.
It's not that they're their best friends; they're their best employees. Get it right; they're paid.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing: as a Minnesota fan, I sat and watched Mike Zimmer be conservative on defense for the whole time that he was there, and I have a feel they're not gonna this year. Mark my words. What's the date today? July 14th, 2024. Dallas is going to be a 500 team, if that, this year, and it's because of their defense.
Okay, Von Doom, and now for your giant subject.
Oh man, this one kind of hurts me a little bit. CBS Sports is ranking Brian the Ball in the lower half of coaches in the NFL, just 2 years removed from being the coach of the year. I don't understand how that's even possible.
Mike, let's get your take on that one.
I don't agree with that. I mean, you look at what the adversity that he had to go through the last 2 years, and the quarterback shuffle, and Saquon not healthy, not happy there, everything else like that. I think he revamps himself this year, and I think the Giants are a playoff team.
Ooh, bold statement there. I like it. Here's the thing. I don't think he's a bottom half coach. I think he should have been at least in the top 16, because he made the playoffs year one and he didn't year two. There proof is in the pudding. You made the playoffs. You won a playoff game. Granted, it was against a fraudulent team. Who'd you guys beat in the playoffs again, Leonard?
I think it was the Vikings.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why you got to bring up old shit?
It ain't that old though.
If it happened yesterday, it's old.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So now, since we've made it through the NFC East and we talked about everybody, but I do agree, Brian Daboll should have been at least in the top 16 of coaches by CBS Coaches Poll, in my opinion, because he did the best he could. Think about it. You guys had a UDFA that looked like he walked right out of a crime mafia movie, with his agent looking like he's ready to whack someone, winning games for a minute.
Hey, forget about it, huh?
Hey,
Right.
Tommy Cutlass is legit, okay?
I know he's legit. I'm saying he's legit. He won games. Eric, my brother, how you doing? So let's start at the top. And since they're not there, we're going to talk about the two teams that can't be here right now because they don't have anybody to rep. So screw it. Colin Klein of the Sporting News suggests that Green Bay should sign Ryan Tannehill to join their QB core. And he made a valid argument because, number one, Jordan Love, while only had 7 out of 17 games that were heroically good in the regular season, if he gets injured or if he starts to relapse, trusting it to a guy that hasn't started in the NFL by the name of Sean Clifford, or the other UDFA they just signed that didn't even get drafted, makes about as much sense as wiping your butt and taking a crap, is essentially what the article reads. And I kind of agree with this. So let's get your take on that, Mike.
I mean, having a veteran quarterback as a backup, someone that's going to mentor Jordan Love, Ryan Tannehill is a successful quarterback in the NFL, and that would be the smartest thing that they could do. I mean, he last year he had a little bit of health issues, didn't stay healthy, and the Packers were able to kind of skate in, but having that experience in that quarterback room is one of two things is going to happen. Either he's going to get playing time or he's going to mentor and groom Jordan Love to be a good quarterback. That's a smart move on Green Bay. And I feel that they'd get him for, a pretty good price as well, because he's not signed right now.
Yep. All right. Leonard, what do you think about it? Do you agree with Mike there?
I actually don't hate Ryan Tannehill, so yeah, I do.
I wasn't hating on it either. I actually think it's a great idea myself. Um, for all the reasons Mike said, and plus one more. Ryan Tannehill, when he has a good running game and an O line and at least one weapon that can catch better than Kadarius Stoney, he's actually decent. I'm just saying. And Matt Henry says, and Doran said Clifford for MVP last season when Love was struggling, and he's absolutely right. I remember it. And finalizing the ownership percentage is the next step before we can sign a contract. Caleb Williams talking in an interview. Can we say
this guy is just not going to let up with this wanting to own some of a team, is he? Good night.
Oh my God, I can't believe this is said. Okay. And speaking of that, since Mike the Bear fan didn't want to show up because I think he knew that Caleb and Rome is not signed. Rome confirms that his signing will be at Tuesday at rookie camp because that's when the filming starts for Hard Knocks because they want to make it a big deal on Hard Knocks. Caleb, on the other hand, goes and talks to Mike Florio and says, I know what I'm worth. And now this comes out. Wow. What do you think about it, Von Doom?
The Rome thing, I understand completely. I agree. That's kind of cool that they're going to do it that way. Create a little drama and a little stuff to anticipate for the show. With Caleb, it's a hard thing for me because I do believe that he should be able to dictate what he's worth. I 100% do. I don't think that the CBA, the union, all the NFL should be able to dictate to that player how much that person can make. I think it's a load of bullshit in any aspect of the entire world. Someone else being able to dictate the amount of money you are able to make for yourself.
Okay. Mike, what do you think about that news and also the thing that I just read that was just sent?
I mean, I said this a couple weeks ago, that there's been a rookie contract in place, and I think you backed it up since 1960 something, and it's worked out well. Prove yourself. Come in. Let's make sure that you're not a bust. Let's make sure you're not a Ryan Leaf. Let's make sure that everything is going to go right. They have the option to sign him to a bigger contract early before that 5 years is up. Come in, let's see how you do for the next 2 years, but we're not going to give you the farm and then you come out here and bust, and go 1-16, go 2-15. I mean, it's just the way it is. We don't know if you're going to get hurt, the first 2 games. I mean, you got to stick to your guns, and if he knows his worth, and his worth can sit on the bench and he can sit and watch the games on Sunday until he gets his head out of his butt and realizes that he's no better than Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams when he was a rookie, or Jamar Chase, or any of them big name people who just finally came out of their rookie contracts and are able to, sign them big lucrative deals. That's the way it's set up. It's the way it is. If he doesn't like it, the NBA gives you, max contract deals as a 19-year-old kid. Maybe you picked the wrong sport.
There we go.
Well,
Matt Henry, who's a Bear fan, says it best. Let's make sure you're not a Joey Harrington.
whoa. Do not even shit on Joey Harrington's name. That man just went to a shit team. He was a good quarterback.
When?
In college. The whole time he was a pro, you just had a shitty team.
No, when he was in college, he had a career completion percentage of 58.6. That's not a good quarterback.
Joey Harrington was that man. I don't care what you have to say about it, JB. You're old.
He was on a team that was good. That's what it was. That's why they did what they did at Oregon.
Okay, anyway, one more thing about the whole Caleb thing. How he can say he knows his worth, and the NFL should change their whole rookie contract because of what the NIL in college is, where these guys can get $20 million a year to go back for an extra year.
But he still gets half of that money for the next 2 years in the pros. So he's technically already got a $12 million per year raise compared to the guys that came into the league 2 or 3 years ago.
Even so, he knows his value.
Yeah, but you remember what what was it last week or the week before we talked about if he wants that extra money, then start signing endorsement deals. You can make the money that you want, and if you know your worth and everybody else wants to buy into your bullshit, let them do it. But I don't think the Bears should be on the hook for that kind of a big money, for a 21-year-old kid. That's unproven.
I got a +1 here for Eric Dalton. He says Caleb is so high from those nail polish fumes. He thinks the NFL pays rookie like NCAA NIL. Great comment.
That is good.
But at the same time, we're gonna before I talk about the Minnesota situation, there is a question in here, and he literally talked about what we talked about backstage prior to the show. What's up, fellas? Did y'all hear Jordan Addison was arrested on suspicion of drunk driving? Crazy. That's because in California, if you are parked in your vehicle sleeping with the keys in the ignition after closing time of bars, and you open the door when they walk up and they smell alcohol, they're going to ask you to do a field sobriety test or take a breathalyzer. If you refuse it, that's what they call a suspicion of DUI. So that is the situation. That's what happened. He was sleeping on the side of the highway there in LA, and they were doing check because in the middle of the night, that's what they're supposed to do. And Matt Henry says allegedly.
Guilty until proven innocent.
Yep, that's basically what it is with the drunk driving stuff. If your keys are in the ignition and the engine's running and you're sleeping and you don't want to do a field sobriety test, you are automatically arrested in any state. Some people just call it a DUI. California is the one that calls it suspicion of a DUI. And
So in Texas, if that would happen here where I live, there's not a suspicion. The arresting officer will contact the judge that's on duty. They will get a warrant for a blood draw. They will take you from where your arresting location to a hospital, draw your blood, and then if it's been over an hour, they calculate, what your blood alcohol level would have been at the time of arrest, and that's what you're charged with. So as a Vikings fan, hey, I love Jordan Addison. He's a great wide receiver, but he made his bed, and he's going to have to sleep in this 100%.
and Orlando comes in with the +1 for funny. I was wandering in the middle of the night, drunk, looking for BD titties. And Von Doom's on the show tonight, so this is great. But my topic was about the vigil for Kyrie was marred yesterday when for the Minnesota Vikings they were doing a vigil and 2 people were shot because gunfire opened up at the Sober event, and this is horrible. The Minnesota Vikings can't catch a break for the tragedies this year now. It's one right after the other, and my heart goes out to them. Skull Gang, I rest in peace to everybody involved. My condolences to their families. But Mike, how do you feel about this one?
I mean, I posted in our NFC, group chat on Facebook. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? What is wrong with people? I mean, you have families and brothers and sisters and moms and dads and everybody in there mourning, and this senseless act of violence erupts for what? I mean, now you have another set of family, another set of friends, and another families. I mean, it's just a domino effect. When is it going to stop? When is the endless violence at these things going to stop? I mean, it's just, I can't wrap my head around it, and there was so much negative comments in our post when I posted it on NFC trash talking thing on Facebook that I had to hop out because it was starting to upset me. I mean, it's this senseless violence that has absolutely no realm in what we got going on in life.
Thoughts and prayers to the family of Kyrie Jackson and also to the Vikings fans on the loss of a good human and player. What a sad tragedy. You know what? And I'm going to say this right now. Why aren't these guys doing like Kyrie did? Even though Kyrie got into a car accident, he was on the passenger side because he had a designated driver. You can't get a designated driver, get an Uber. Can't get an Uber, walk across the street because usually there's a hotel right close to the bar where you're at. Go get a room, sober up, leave in the morning, do something smart.
Or just stay the hell home and drink at home with your friends.
Yeah, Von Doom, what do you think about that whole situation there in Minnesota?
The whole thing could have been avoidable. And this isn't just for like this situation, because I know it's going to sound like I'm being a jackass, but I'm really not trying to be. The 4th of July weekend, 3 o'clock in the morning, you have no damn business being out on the roads because you know how many other people are going to be out there drunk on a holiday weekend. It's a risky, unnecessary risk.
I understand, but what do you think about the two people being shot at the vigil for Kyrie?
Dude, have you seen the state of our country right now?
I know.
Nothing shocks me anymore. Nothing.
I have to agree with him. I mean, I'm absolutely dumbfounded. I mean, there other countries are laughing at us, right now. I mean, it's just pathetic. I love this country. I am a son of a Marine. I grew up in a military family, and if my father and my grandfather who shed blood for this country would see what's going on right now, they're flipping over in their grave, and I'm ashamed right now. And the sad part is that, touching on what he just said, assassinating a former president isn't going to solve this country's issues or problems. It's going to make it worse,
It's going to
and
start a civil war.
it absolutely is, and once that starts, it's all hell's going to break loose. And uh, I I've had to sit down after the attempted attack, on our former president. I had to sit down with my kids and explain this to them, and that was one of the hardest things I had to do as a father. And I thank God we have solace in sports and looking at ESPN and things that take our minds off of all the bad things that are going on in this world. And that's why I enjoy every Sunday night with you guys, because this is my 1 hour that I can escape from reality of what horrible things are going on, and talk shit with you guys, and love the game of football, and just know that, hey, we're friends in different parts of this country, but we're all like-minded and we want the best thing for this country all together.
Here, here. And also, as me, I served in the Army. I signed that blank check during peacetime that said that I would lay my life down for, and in order, in your oath, it says your Constitution, the citizens, and the president, in that order. So, any part of the Constitution that I feel has been infringed upon eats at my soul. And the first one that's been infringed upon already, if you read how it was written, was the Second Amendment. It literally read that we had the right to bear arms or arm bearers, and it wasn't just for hunting or fun. It was because in case the government becomes tyrannical, to protect ourselves and be able to form our own militia if that happens, to overthrow said government. It's literally written that way in our Constitution. How do they expect John Q. Public to be able to fight with a semi-automatic weapon versus fully automatic machine guns, true assault weapons? You can't.
Yeah, but how many people in the military would actually take up arms against people in the country?
They wouldn't.
I
Exactly.
know a lot of them would lay down their arms, but there's a few that are whoever follow whatever leaders in office would seriously consider just doing their jobs because they don't want to get court-martialed. Because at that time it's considered an act of war.
Yeah. But my son-in-law is a petty officer first class in the United States Navy, and me and him have had extensive conversations about this. If the shit hit the fan and there was another civil war, what would he do? And he said that I would walk away and I would go home because I'm not going to kill a fellow American. I didn't sign up for that. And he would lose everything, and I applaud him for that. And I know a lot of people that are still in this military that we love and we respect, and we thank God because we can go to sleep at night and know that we're protected from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea, from border to border, and they feel the exact same way. So
And so now I'm going to attack the chat because we're coming up on the last subject to talk about tonight, and then we can do whatever we want for football talk. We'll go to the
Absolutely.
chat for it. This is definite. Eric Dalton says this is definitely not the country I proudly serve. It's a mess. Ralph Williams of RW Media, our Steelers guy for Wednesday night, says, hello, guys. Orlando says, focus on our similarities instead of our differences. We're more alike than different. Amen, sir.
Amen.
We all bleed red. We all live on the same planet, and we all live under the same sun. There we go. There's only one race, and it's the human race. It's all ethnic backgrounds after that. Orlando Escort, January 6th was too much. We're nuts. No, if you think about it, Trump heard that it was coming. He called the Speaker of the House and asked her if she wanted him to send 10,000 National Guards to protect Capitol Hill and the Senate. And she declined it. And she admitted it on a video saying that, man, I should have took it. It's my fault. I did this. In other words, Trump knew, called it in, offered to help, and she turned it down.
Here, let me ask you this one. What do the people in Washington fear so much about him? They've indicted him multiple times. They've impeached him. And each time they've done anything, his popularity has grown. So the next attempt to try to take his life. What?
Because
are
they're
they afraid of?
absolutely scared of what he knows, how he knows, and the draining of the swamp. But let's, yeah. I mean, the man is not a politician, guys. He is a businessman. He runs businesses. The United States is the largest corporation in the world, and he ran it perfectly. Yes, he had some fucked up mean tweets, and yes, he speaks his mind, and yes, he's off the cuff, but he unemployment was the lowest it's ever been. Inflation was low. We were exporting more goods than we were importing. I mean, the man is a genius at what he does. If you can get by the off the cuff things that he does and just look at what he's actually done and what he's, done for this country, the dude just got shot in the ear and he stood up and asked us to fight. I mean, and did you guys notice that nobody in that rally ran? They all stood up. Because they're all first responders, they're all military, they're all law enforcement, they're all blue collar workers that want the exact same thing that we do. We want peace and solidarity and the ability to go to work and make a formidable wage and not get overtaxed and know that our military is paid well and protected and our teachers are good and Social Security is there. I have a mother who's on Social Security that just took another $164 pay cut because they're taking away from Social Security. So
I don't understand how they could take away from that. We all paid into that.
Because they're taking money from that and putting it into other aspects of the government. But
yeah. Ooh, Dan Davis up here says, and to think there's people out there trying to say it was staged. I have a video on TikTok on my phone right now that shows how lucky he is to even be alive for the freaking micro freaking movement that he made where it hit his ear. If he doesn't turn his head that tiniest bit, that fragment of that bullet goes right through the center of his brain.
There's another video on TikTok where they slow down the frame and they actually caught a bullet, the first bullet going by him, and the second one that caught him.
There was a total of 8 shots fired if you listen to it.
They're saying it was 3 from the actual shooter that tried to kill President Trump and 5 from the Secret Service.
And here we go. I'm going to say this. As a person, Trump's a douchebag. Not going to lie. But his policies were good.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. And I'm not saying anything more than that. I'm trying not to go political.
We can respect that, Jeremy.
I can, but you know what? Douchebag, bang hookers, I don't care. My gas was low, my 401k was up.
Amen. Minds are set. No debate really changes anyone's mind. Wasting energy debating produces absolutely nothing but hurt relationships. I'm just tired of all of it on both sides. Amen. I'm tired of it. We've divided our own country amongst ourselves, and the media and the politicians are loving it.
Of course they are, because then they can push their own agendas, and we're easy to control at that point. And honestly, the only way this country is going to come back together is going to be another 9/11 type bullshit. That was the last time our country was united.
Well,
Right.
here, I'll just show you my shirt. See where I stand.
Yep.
Mhm.
It is.
I'm not going to tell anybody to vote left or right. I don't care if you vote third party. I just want you to vote.
Make your voice heard. If you want this country to change, the only way that you can do that is show up at the polling stations, and that's it. You know, like you said, not to get into a political, debate. This is about football. We got a little bit off track, but it is what it is. I mean, even the NFL hops onto their bullshit with the whole kneeling and everything else, and trying to jump into the whole political thing and doing what they're not supposed to do. And it got to a point to where I got frustrated with them enough to where I'm just like, and I'll admit it. I was like, you guys are paid entertainers. You're here to entertain us. Leave the politics out of it. Let's just have fun.
Yep.
And like
I agree with you, man.
like Jeremy said, we all bleed red. We all want what's best for this country, and that's what's so great about this country. You can vote blue. I can vote red. You can vote purple. I'm not going to think anything different of you, because your opinion is your opinion. My opinion is my opinion. You love the Lions. I love the Vikings, and this is why I join you every single Sunday.
Amen. And Von Doom loves the Giants, and he tolerates the Lions because he's on my
Yes.
show. But anyway,
Also, real quick, wait, one more thing, just so I can tie this everything I just took us into back into football. Trump did own the New Jersey Generals in the USFL. There we go.
yes, he was a part of the USFL, and
Yes,
yes,
he was.
it did fail, and yes, all those guys came through into the NFL, the ones that were worth a damn. He hate me, Rod Smart. Remember that
You hate me.
from the XFL?
Yes.
That was great. The
Yeah,
XFL
but
failed the first time.
but
And I'm
but
glad they united.
but it was fun to watch, though. I mean,
The
whether or not
original
it
one?
failed. Yes, the original one. It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
Wasn't it the Generals was one of the first teams of that?
Yes.
the Generals was the first team. Michigan Panthers was the second or third. The one that was in Pennsylvania, what were they called?
I don't know.
It wasn't the same as what it is now. They were called something
Yeah,
else.
they were something different, but yeah.
I don't know, but man, this is horrible. Just came in my head. I'm just going to not put that out on TV here.
What's that?
Something horrible just came to my mind, and I'm just not going to say it.
Oh yeah, because we are on the Roku station right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, let's just talk about the last subject I had. The only team we haven't talked about in our division, and that was the Lions, and that had a lot to do with what came out on that receiver video on Netflix, where Amon-Ra said he played with his oblique torn from the bone, and that happened in week 3. He played through it week 4, missed week 5, and then I think about week 8 or 9, he actually hurt his foot and didn't have time for the surgery, so he taped it up and put a steel plate in the bottom of his cleat, and only missed week 5 with all this going on.
And still hit his freaking goals that he had for the season.
2 of his 3 goals of the season. He didn't get to the 115 receptions, but he did get the 1,500 plus yards. He hit 15-15, and he said he was going to get 10 plus touchdowns. He got 10 touchdowns in the regular season. You talk about a dog to do what you got to do to get what you want. That's what he is. And if anybody says that isn't a true throwback style football player, you can kiss my ass.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we all know Amon-Ra is a beast, man.
He is.
What do you think about all that, Von Doom?
What?
What do you think about all that, Von Doom?
It's old school football, man. It's just like, you tear your shoulder up, you still go to work. You hurt your back, you still go to work because it's your job. You know you got to do what you got to do. He doesn't cry, and he doesn't Kenny Galladay. Let's put it that way.
Right. Mike?
I mean, you got to give respect where respect is due. The dude played hurt. He had a goal. He said it. He came out like you. I didn't know that he put a steel plate in the bottom of his foot just to be able to play. That's absolutely nuts. A lot of these other receivers, I mean, hell, they get turf toe and they're out for 8 weeks. And this dude tore the oblique away from the bone and missed one game, bro. That is a strong individual, physically, mentally, emotionally, to be able to play through that. I mean, you can't say nothing bad about it. I mean, that is dedication to your team, and that dude better have a C on his jersey next year after all this came out.
I got to address
Knock it
Orlando.
off, Orlando.
You can say titties on Roku. Titties with D's. Yes, I can.
Hey, let me address this real quick. Corey Patterson. Yes, I do like my Giants on Hard Knocks. If you've watched it, it is hysterical. Some of the stuff that Schoen and DeBall say to each other. Like we were talking about if he could beat somebody in a 40-yard dash. And they're like, if there was $1 million, nah, probably not. But if there was a bucket of wings down there, absolutely.
Oh, Jesus.
And Orlando said, ass too? Well, think about it. Most of the 7 words you couldn't say on television when George Carlin around have all been said except the F-bomb on network TV. The F-bomb will not be dropped on network TV until we've totally lost all morals in America, which is close.
We're we're about 3 days away from that, so
You're not wrong. You are not wrong there at all.
but you got to look. You got to look. There's NFL games, that are, guys are mic'd up and they drop the F bomb, and they don't catch it. They don't catch it in time.
They catch a lot of it. It's still beeped. It's just not quite on time because they're not putting a long enough tape delay in.
They get the FUC. They beep out the K. I mean, it's.
I don't give a beep how you feel.
Yeah. So.
Chris Sierra Jr. says, "What's up, boys?" Chris has a good podcast that he does on Sundays called Fourth and Goal. Check him out. I've been on his show before. And Corey Patterson goes, "It is." But, oh, yeah. Amon-Ra is the heart of the team. He is working with JMO a lot and riding him. Only good things can come from that. 100%.
But hey,
Do you think so?
Did you guys see? I don't know if it was CBS Sports or if it was the NFL Network came out. Earlier I caught a glimpse of it. I was walking out of the house to go grocery shopping, but they're saying that your Lions unfortunately are not going to have a good bounce back year. They're going to have what they call the sophomore jinx, where they had a good year like the Vikings did the first year KOC was there, and then they're not going to perform like they should this year. What are your thoughts on what I've seen?
I've seen that by like 2 national media outlets, and out of the other 10 others that I've read, they say the exact opposite. And I'm going to say this. It's really not a sophomore jinx when all you did was progress up the entire time. We started 3-13, we went to 9-8, we went to 12-5. That's a natural progression if you look at it. It's not too peaked like some of these other teams have got. And then Big Dan Davis says, JB, have you heard anything how Matthew Betts is doing? I haven't heard anything on him since the 3rd week of OTAs. And the reason why is because if there's no change, they don't report it. He is still doing the same thing. They say he has an elite bend and elite change of direction skills. But Davenport and Reeder has not been able to play, and they haven't been practicing since the 3rd week of OTAs because they've been off. So that's why you haven't heard anything. Training camp starts next week on Tuesday. The rookies report everywhere. And then the following week will be the vets. All them injuries last year and still 12-5. Yeah, 100%. That's the other thing they're not looking at. Jonah Jackson, we just talked about how tough Amon-Ra was. Jonah Jackson missed 4 games because of a hangnail. That's why the Lions didn't re-sign him. He showed no grit. A hangnail is not injured. It's hurt. There's a difference. Josh Reynolds, the way he acted after he dropped the passes in the NFC Championship game, and the way he reacted in the pressure when he was asked about it, he giggles and says, "Shit happens," and walks off the stage. That's not the way a competitor should feel about something so crucial in a big game. And that at the same time, as long as Dan Campbell's here and everybody's buying in, I don't see us falling down. That's all, Mike. Von Doom, what do you think?
Uh, I want to be on the train that says I think the Lions are going to be good for a while. But have they ever been good for a while? They're 1 or 2 years here or there, and then they drop off. I need to see it before I can actually believe it, and that's all. Yes, and I know that was an a-hole statement.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, the Vikings. The last year that Zimmer was there, what were we 8-8, and then the league changed with the extra game, and then KOC came in and we went, what was it, 15-3 or something like that, and then last year we didn't even make the playoffs. That's the thing. There was progression, but then we fell back off. So I mean,
You also changed coordinators last year.
yeah, well, we changed coordinators when Kevin Stefanski went to Cleveland, as well.
We didn't change coordinators. We've never changed coordinators in these 3 years. We've never changed head coach. We've kept the three heads of the team has been the same.
Yeah.
Aaron
So
Glenn's still your DC, though.
that keeps a bigger continuity within the team.
I mean, you got to look at it that if that's the case, and I'm going to be biased. I mean, Minnesota now has Flores, for the second year. KOC, we haven't changed anything, So, what is your prediction for Minnesota this year?
I don't know because I don't trust your QB room.
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
That's it. I have them with the widest window of opportunity. They could win up to 10, but they could lose and only win 5. We don't know until we see what the quarterback room looks like on the field.
I've had them as a 7-win team.
Yeah, I think they'll do more than that. They got a pretty mediocre schedule this year, but you're right. Jeremy, I mean, I agree. Until Minnesota actually, puts their foot down and say, okay, this is our starter. We're sticking with them. We're going to ride this horse until, we can't ride it no more. You're absolutely correct. My personal belief is that, Sam Darnold should absolutely mentor JJ McCarthy. Let's put JJ McCarthy in there. The Vikings have never picked a quarterback this high in any draft ever before. We're investing in this kid. Let's see what he does. And he's either going to make it or he's going to break it, but he's going to learn from it.
That's why they traded up to 10, is so he wouldn't have the stigma of the Dante Culpepper pick on him.
True. But Dante was great until he went to Miami.
No, he sucked when he came to Detroit, too.
Yeah. But he was great with Minnesota, so I can't say nothing bad there. But he also had Randy Moss and Chris Carter, and they had plays that were just throw it down the field and hope they run underneath it, so.
Randy Moss was the greatest center fielder in all the NFL.
Absolutely, he was. And that's why he's got that gold jacket.
All right,
Yep.
so I'm going to get into this now. Main event,
that comment right there.
Gentlemen.
Oh.
And then Orlando says, "Oh, I'm done with you, VD. Your titties are ugly to me now."
Good. Now you'll look at me as a person and not just a piece of meat, you weirdo.
Eric Dalton says Lions also have a real GM for once and an owner that actually hired football people and is letting them do football things. I think that is the biggest reason why you see a lot of this going on right now. And Matt Henry says playing all division games in the last weeks is insane. Yeah, I understand. Big Dan Davis, Mike, how many games before the Jans are calling for JJ to be the starter? Do you think JJ becomes the starter at all this year for y'all?
Honestly, if Sam Darnold starts the year and he goes 2-2, I think JJ McCarthy will be the starter by week 5.
I think if he goes 2-2, you guys should better count your blessings, and he better stay the starter all season.
Ah,
I'm just saying.
no, I think that they're gonna. I think JJ McCarthy will be our starter before the season's end. You know, I mean that's just a valid statement. Um, I just firmly believe that. You know, I think that's what's going to happen.
I think if he's less than 202, JJ will be your starter come week 5. I think if he's 2 or better, they'll run with him. Yep,
Depend
and
depends on his performance. I mean, you got to look. I mean, if we're playing sub par teams, and get 2 wins, and then we get blown out by 2 decent teams, I think they'll make a quarterback change because at that point it's going to be the changing of the guards.
I think he used to be okay. I'm going to address this one from Orlando. Talk smack about the Lions. Your titties ain't that nice. Who you think you are, Sexy Red? I was like, no, he thinks he's Jay Glazer with a tan.
Wow.
Oh,
Sexy Red. Man.
Funny though.
Ooh, them fighting words, Orlando. I look nothing like Roger from American Dad.
Buddy Kinkito says Chicago plays 5 last best team. By their fan base, they should be 5 games ahead of us before the season starts. I know. We've heard all this for what? The 3 years they had Justin Fields, and now this year that they got Caleb. Let's see it on the field before you make too many bold claims. JJ McCarthy is terrible under pressure. I'm a diehard U of M fan saying this. I think he should have stayed in college another year, but his coach left, and Sharon Moore doesn't trust him and didn't use him. And it looks like Sharon Moore trusts Daniel Orgy better. And how about that? We get to hear that name called out by national media when Michigan plays this fall. And Orgy throws another touchdown. Orgy gets it in the end zone.
so being a JJ McCarthy fan and loving him because he's with the Vikings is hard for me because I am a Buckeyes fan, and so
Of course
this
you
is
are.
kind of come on, and but yeah, he had some struggles under pressure, but I don't think that Harbaugh utilized him like he should. And you're right, Orgy isn't gonna do what he wants to do with him. But I think the NFL is going to, change him. I think Kevin O'Connell being a quarterback, in his NFL days and being able to groom him to where he is going to be good in that defense or in that offense. Excuse me. He's got all the weapons there. He's got Jones. They're going to sign Akers back. They've got a great receiving core. They just picked up, the tight end that used to play for the Packers. I can't think of his
Mercedes
name.
Lewis.
No.
Tunyon.
Conyon. And TJ Hawkinson's supposed to come back after week 3. So I think they're going to be good.
Oh, God, the comments are going off. Orlando said to Corey Patterson after that, he goes, yes, Sam Darnold beat the Lions both times he played them, but that was Matt Patricia, and everybody beat Patricia. He goes, LOL, can't argue that. Orgy throws a pick 6 from Matt Henry. He's evidently an OSU fan, too. But Orlando
I'll be back in 2
Escobar,
seconds.
that's going to be so much fun. We got Christina Payne waving hi to Christina Payne waving her pink hand at everybody. And Orlando Escobar says, orgy party. And Eric Dalton says, orgy is so fitting in Ann Arbor. And I will tell you this, with a down year, and I don't expect more than 9 wins out of Michigan this year. I know we got a good defense, but I don't know what the offense is going to be yet. If Ryan Day loses to Michigan this year, Ohio State fans are going to be calling for his head.
If
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not. We were calling for his head last year. Over the dumb shit he was doing. I mean,
Ann Arbor has to send you thank you letters after sex. That's in the comments. Oh,
that's the comment of the year. You need to screenshot that and have that one for a while.
oh, it's pinned. Yeah, no national title this year. I don't think so either. I just We saw what Sharon Moore did with our team. And yes, one of those games were against OSU to end the season. We ran the ball down their throats. He threw it a total of 20 times in the entire game. Cooper Party in Columbus. Oh, here we go. I got to give the disclaimer. The views of Jeremy Powrr Jr. do not reflect that of the kneecap biting of the Motor City Lions YouTube channel. Dad, I
Yes,
want
they
to trade
do.
Frank for wide receiver Tony from Kansas City. To hell with that. How about I trade you for the water boy? Texas is my guess, sitting so well for the Big Ten, in my opinion.
Well, Texas isn't in the Big Ten though. Texas
No,
moved to
SEC, right?
ACC. Yeah.
ACC or SEC? I thought they went to the
SEC.
Yep.
Yep.
Competition in the Big Ten is better, so I expect at least two losses out of Michigan this year. 10-2 for them, in my opinion. As long as one of them is not Ohio State, I'm good.
It's gonna be. Hey, but don't. Hey, honestly, with the Big Ten this year, don't sleep on Minnesota. I mean, PJ Fleck has got a bunch of good recruits in there. I think they're going to be, contending for the Big Ten title this year.
So let's see what kind of bullshit rumors are out there now. Let's go out for NFC North rumors because I want to attack them because they're fun. What do you guys think?
Whatever.
All right. NFC North rumors. I guess I could have just went to the Twitter page of NFC North news and rumors because that's all it is. But NFC North, the report. Here it comes. Let's see what we got. Trading Tony for Ragdow is like letting Lizzo manage a Golden Corral.
Wait, real quick. Now that you brought up that freaking name Lizzo there, you know that song where she comments about having a guy on the Minnesota Vikings? Did you know it was fucking Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Two questionable aspects of the improved Chicago roster. This guy might actually have some here. It is no secret that the Bears have steadily built a playoff-worthy roster. They wasted no time retooling after their third consecutive losing season, trading away fan favorite Justin Fields in favor of Caleb Williams, and they took with the first overall pick. Chicago also parted ways with Bears legend Eddie Jackson, promptly replacing him with former All-Pro safety Kevin Byard, who's on the decline, by the way, and that's in there. Other acquisitions include running back DeAndre Swift, also known as Mr. Glass, tight end Gerald Everett, wide receiver Keenan Allen, Mr. Glass Part 2, and wide receiver Roman Duzzi, whom they drafted with the 9th pick overall. GM Ryan Poles has quickly turned this roster into one of the best in the league. However, among the talent, there remains some uncertainty at two positions. With one of the first moves the Bears made after the season concluded was firing of OC Luke Getsy and hiring former Seahawks OC Shane Waldron. Why Waldron commanded an offense and steadily progressed throughout his 3 years spent in Seattle. Oh my God. And they're going to let Miley Cyrus do the halftime show at this year's Super Bowl, according to rumor.
Whoa, that's awesome though. You know why? It ain't gonna be a wardrobe malfunction when we see some titties. Yeah.
Delvin has never
no.
recovered from that Lizzo tackle.
So that is an NFC rumor that the Vikings are talking about bringing him back.
They're also talking about they just had because he didn't pass his physical, they didn't sign Cam Akers, so he's still a free agent. And among the many moves to improve their roster, pass rushing was not one of them. But the offensive line, he goes, is another reason. But DeMarcus Walker and Austin Booker potentially replacing the opposite side of Montez Sweat doesn't exactly boom toward success. So offensive line and defensive line. That's their biggest questions, according to this article. And he goes, if either one plays bad, Caleb Williams is going to have a rough year.
Caleb Williams is going to know his worth, and that is picking himself up off the ground a lot. He's gonna have to get a sponsor from Tide because his uniform is going to be very dirty.
Right. It says Lizzo and Miley Cyrus. Miley would look like Lizzo's G-string on the stage together.
Oh, Jesus.
If it is Miley Cyrus, I bet she swings in on the wrecking ball nude.
Please no. Please no.
I got to get the Matt Henry's comment here. I got to back up a little bit. How about Gundy's response to Ollie getting arrested for a DUI? I didn't hear about that. Put it in the chat. Tell me about it. Oh. Gosh, that was funny. Let's see what trade rumors are out here.
The Jets could always make it happen.
So, hey, I wanted to ask you, Jeremy. You said that Cam Akers, I didn't see that. He did not pass his physical today?
He did yesterday? Not pass his physical yesterday.
What did they say what it was? Was it still the Achilles or?
They can't say what it is because injuries can't be reported publicly.
HIPAA.
That's why all of a sudden you started hearing more about Dalvin Cook back to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Orlando Escalano, Miley Cyrus is Lizzo's G-string. She covers that roast beef sandwich. Oh my God.
This is a family show.
We're all going to hell.
I'll bring the beer.
I want Arby's. No.
No.
While the Lions' offensive line is healthy, it'll be hard to sack Goff. This is true. When all 5 of our starters played last year, Goff was hardly ever touched. In the games that we lost 5 out of the 6 games. 4 of those, Frank Ragnow wasn't in the lineup, or was Jonah Jackson at that time. They'd throw clothing on stage for Miley and Lizzo. Put it on! Put it on! Corey Patterson's laughing. Bengals not expected to extend wide receiver T. Higgins before tag deadline. Yeah, we already knew that.
Yeah, that was.
In other news, Jacoby Jones was found dead this morning at 40 years old.
And that's a very sad thing because where Jacoby Jones lives, he literally lives 5 miles from me, and they found him dead in his home. And Harris County is not saying anything. They just said that they're awaiting the autopsy.
They're awaiting an investigation. Anytime you hear that, that means something looks fishy when someone died.
Yeah.
She's got the meat.
She got enough meat to end world hunger. What are you talking about?
Yuck. Yuck. Yuck.
Sorry, couldn't help that.
I have just enough beer in me to make that funny.
I still have any of me, and it's hilarious. But anyway, we're going into the second hour. Yes, way too young. And it was under investigation ever since this morning. And whenever you read that, reasons for death is under investigation, that means that there was some mitigating circumstances where something just doesn't look right with the death they found. From writing, you get to where if it's an apparent suicide, they'd have said that. If it was natural cause, if it looked like natural causes, they'd say authorities are leading towards natural causes because we've seen that. Anytime they say it's under investigation, they suspect foul play. of one way or another.
And it's really sad because Jacoby Jones was a pillar in the he lived in North Houston, which is the Woodlands area, and he did a lot for youth athletics. He did a lot for the community. He was a really stand up guy. Here for us.
Oh man, I'm just looking to see if there's anything other good on this trade rumor ones. Nope, that's it. The only thing I saw is now it looks like the Commanders and the Jets are contacting the 49ers for the services of Brandon Ayuk. Both of them are involved in 3-team trades, which rarely happens anymore in the NFL. So anytime I see that, I almost debunk it without even looking into the trade rumor.
That could be pretty interesting, though. A 3-team trade with the 49ers, the Jets and the Redskins?
No. Each one is 2 different 3-team trades.
Oh.
He's getting Ayuk and dealing with the 49ers and another team, and then the Jets getting Ayuk dealing with the 49ers and another team. You know what I'm saying? When it's 2 separate 3-team trade rumors, it's usually not going to happen. And Buddy Conquito says 22-8 in the last 30 games, and of those 8, they beat Carolina. They play 6 or 7 for a revenge tour, Baltimore and Super Bowl. If Baltimore gets to the Super Bowl, I'm losing a bet this year on the BetMGM site. So no, they can't. Adam's involved there somewhere there. Yeah, and 40 years old is way too young. I'm 54. Von Doom's about to turn 40 next year, right?
Yep, next year. I'll be 39 in like 2 weeks.
Right.
I'll be 50 in February.
So here we are. We are all guys around that age or older. And so anytime I hear about somebody passing away younger than me, it's concerning. And you hear about it more and more every day. And when it's somebody that's a professional athlete, we're talking about somebody that was the pinnacle of health up until that point in their lifetime. So, yeah, my condolences to his families, and I pray to God it's nothing serious, and it comes out that maybe he accidentally overdosed on his own medication by taking it too close together or some stupid stuff like that, because I would hate for it to be a murder. Orlando, his titties still look 20. Moby Dick. Eric Dalton, my last comment was the intro to Moby Dick. Oh, God.
Well, fellas, hey, I'm gonna hop off here. I got to be up at 4 in the morning. I appreciate you guys as always. It was another eventful and fun, Sunday night. I look forward to next week, and thanks for having me. I hope you all have a blessed night. Let's continue this and have some more fun.
Yeah, this is more about the fun part of sports, as you can tell. The Wednesday
Absolutely.
night is more serious. It's NFL news. It's more broader based. This is
Yeah.
specifically for the NFC North and the NFC East, bringing in the fans of those teams just for this type of stuff, to sit here and have fun, not sit here and bash each other's teams
Yeah.
or any of that. It's just to talk a little football.
Well, you see that nobody from the NFC East actually showed up tonight, so that kind of gives you an example of it.
NFC North wins.
Absolutely, we always will.
You say you always will, but I got a question for you. Do you know what division has the most Super Bowl wins?
Probably the NFC East, and don't care.
Yeah,
It is, and it matters.
I really don't care either. I mean, what? Like I said it before. Why are you bringing up old shit?
And Corey Patterson, yes.
Because we're old shits. That's what we got to do.
Buddy Quintino says, bye, Mike. Have a good night. And I'm sure you guys heard they found Addison asleep in his car drunk. That is the accusation, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
guys, have a good night. Thank you again for having me. We will see you, Wednesday and next Sunday.
Yes, sir.
absolutely. Have
All
a good
right.
one.
Stay blessed, guys.
You too.
Use
All
it.
right. Bye.
This is a fun show. I like this. I like this format. And I know you do too, because you can finally be on for the entire show.
Exactly, man.
I know you've been so tired lately, brother.
More than I would like to admit. Old man problems.
Amen. Well, those of you that are still in the chat, it is viewer driven content. We can talk about whatever you want. If you continue to want to talk about Lizzo and Miley Cyrus and how Miley Cyrus looks like her G string covering the meats, I'm okay with it. But my Lord, give a guy a break. Let us not hyperventilate. If VHS was the top of home entertainment, it doesn't matter who has the most Super Bowls. Oh, that was great. That's a good one.
It does matter, though, man. In the grand scheme of it, it does matter. We all like to say it doesn't because we only care about now. But most of the people that say we only care about now are the ones that haven't won anything.
So Woody Bach just hopped in, and I know the MLB draft has been going on, and the Tigers actually took a
Another little high school kid.
shortstop. JB, say hi to my son Aiden for me. Good. Yes, hello, Aiden. Glad to hear you're here. If you got any details about the young man we drafted, the shortstop that's coming out of high school, I know he committed to Texas, but there's a chance he may not even go. Tell me about him.
I wish the NFL could do stuff like that.
Oh, draft him straight out of high school instead of letting him go to college and get ruined?
Yeah. Send them to the developmental leagues.
I didn't know Homer Simpson's father was on the show, Jeremy. No, but Barney is. Gee, Homer, let's go get a beer. Why not? I forgot I got a soundboard over here. I haven't been using it so long, I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, so, Von Doom, how have you been doing in the betting world lately?
Man,
Are you always coming up one leg short of a parlay?
so, yeah, and like just by the smallest bit. Like I'll hit a $200 or $300 one, woohoo, yay, let's go, and I'll just take the whole thing. I'll put in a bunch of other ones, and like 5 leg parlays and 4 will hit. Or your stupid GM of the and coach of the Tigers there will bench a pitcher on me when I need one more strikeout. Chicago and Green Bay have won the Super Bowl. It's time for Detroit and Minnesota.
I agree with that statement. It is time.
What's that? Hold on.
All right. In the group chat, it was the guy I thought they would grab from Westlake High School. If guy, of course, great stick on him. He'll be in that group of recruits with Clark and McGonagall. No, okay, I like it. Anytime they mention VHS era Super Bowls play, New Kids on the Block right stuff. How about I just do that? Get that back to the VHS times.
Eric, you probably still rocking New Kids on the Block, man. Be real.
Nah, we actually rock.
Yeah, okay, sure. JB over there with his Donnie Wahlberg underwear on.
Had no chance, sir. That was deep. Who does Vegas have as NFC favorites? 49ers, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, and Falcons right now.
Falcons.
They think the Falcons are winning the division, which they
They
probably
should.
will. If they go out, they're going to bounce out in the wild card round. But they got Kirk O'Shaughnessy.
I read that wrong, Eric, and I'm just going to apologize for reading that wrong.
I was a metalhead. Yep. Wow. How did you read
I thought it said I was a methead.
it? The Buffalo Bills losing all those Super Bowls in a row. 4 in a row.
Yes.
All with the same QB. The only QB to lose all 4 in a row. Jim Kelly. Or Jim Kelly. Did he make it into the Hall of Fame? He did, didn't he?
I think so.
Underneath his bust, does it say the biggest Super Bowl loser?
No. Phil Simms did have a cannon for an arm. We had a great defense, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Iron Maiden, Ozzy, Metallica, older Deep Purple, let's see, Led Zeppelin, Metal Church, Slayer, Megadeth, all of that. I didn't get into mainstream bubblegum airhead pop music until Squirt Guns and Tulips came out in '87. Well, I mean Guns N' Roses. But you're absolutely right. I mean, LT on defense, that alone shuts down half a field.
Very true.
Fran Tarkenton sent Jim Kelly a thank you letter. True story. Yes, we're losing 4 in a row because he was the first quarterback to lose 3 in a row. Absolutely, you did. And who'd have thought Don Shula, one of the greatest coaches ever, when that year that Johnny Unitas got hurt, Earl Morrell was the backup quarterback, takes them to the Super Bowl. They start Johnny Unitas and lost to the Jets. Fast forward a few years, and Don Shula, as head coach of the Miami Dolphins, calls on Earl Morrell because Bob Greasy gets hurt. Takes him to the Super Bowl, lets Bob Greasy start, but they go undefeated. He did it to him twice. How crazy is that?
Bob Greasy.
Brian Greasy's dad,
I know.
quarterback of the Super Dolphins that year. Harry Carson, Carl Banks, Pepper Johnson, who is from Detroit, by the way. Yes, I know. Yeah, they had a hell of a defense.
Carl Banks, one of my favorite linebackers of all time. So underrated. And the guy is hysterical. Follow him on X.
Yeah.
He is a funny, funny dude.
He's off the books after this year. He only had a 3-year contract. That's why the Giants actually.
He's already off the books now.
Yeah, he's off the books. That's why it doesn't send Dan into a tizzy anymore because he's off the books.
God. His contract is worse than Jamarcus Russell's. Yes, it was. Russell at least played for like a half a year. Golladay played for like 6 snaps.
Oh, he played in 2 seasons, just that it was only 8 games. Come on now.
Buffalo's window for the Super Bowl is gone, buddy. It is gone.
RXJ goes, wow, didn't know you guys were live today. Great surprise. I hope you guys are having a good weekend. We were talking about the NFC North and the NFC East. We went over some good topics. But now that that's over, we're just here shooting the crap with our fans. We might as well go back to our Ford Field roots because everybody here is a Lions fan for the most part, with the exception of Matt Henry. We might have a Yoli Cruz sighting soon because she usually pops in when we're halfway through a show.
And we are currently at 463 subscribers. Please share it with all your friends and
Oh,
family.
wait,
Make your
I got
kids subscribe.
I got to update that.
Oh, yeah,
Dun, dun,
make
dun,
everybody subscribe.
dun. 467 subscribers.
Boom.
DT out of Tennessee, 90s. Albert Hainsworth is king. Oh, he was so overrated after he left Tennessee.
Dude,
One of the
he
worst
was a
kind
monster.
ever did.
Yeah, straight robbery.
We are 33 away from 500, and Von Doom is going to create something cool for you if we get there. Correct?
Yeah. I don't know what yet. It's something.
Yeah, we haven't decided exactly what we're giving away, so I don't know how much I got to invest, but I will invest when it's time. I always do, don't I, Von Doom?
Correct. You still got to drive out and pick up your table, buddy.
I can't afford to right now. No more than you can
It's
afford.
probably cheaper than the shipping. That's the problem.
I know. Maybe if we meet halfway, like Toledo.
Oh, man. Who really wants to go to Toledo? It's Ohio. There ain't nothing good there.
Yeah, but there's nothing good on the east side of the Pennsylvania border either. You know where my mind is going.
Yeah. I got it. We'll meet in New York. There we go. At least there's shit to do. Who do you think covers Nakua's season opener? Veteran Davis or no?
It really
Ooh.
depends on where they line him up, because if you watch, they lined Nakua outside, inside, on the opposite side of the field. They moved him around like St. Brown. So, and they do the same thing with Cup. So I think everybody on the roster that in those starting 3 spots will get to cover him.
Dude, here's the thing with Puka Nakua. He is Cooper Kupp if he was taller, faster, and stronger.
Right. But he
Same
does
kind of player.
They're the exact same type of player is what I'm getting at. He's just a faster version of it.
Uh-huh.
So, and in all actuality, St. Brown is that guy on our team.
For the most part, yeah.
They were all projected to be slot receivers, and they ended up playing good everywhere. So let's let it happen. I think everybody's going to get a chance to cover him, and whoever gets burnt will probably not get to cover him again. He's strong as hell, yeah. The David Boston contract with the
Ooh.
Chargers was awful. Yes, it was. It was worse than the Galladay one for at the time for percentage against the cap. That's not
David
wrong.
Boston, when he was with the Cardinals, his first couple of years, guy was great. Then he got into the whole steroids and jacking up and all that. And then, like, his range of motion just diminished so much, he wasn't the same guy anymore.
Right.
DeMarco Murray.
Great in Dallas and didn't do anything in Philly. 100%. There's all sorts of players that go from one team to the other and disappear. But at the same time, you could talk about guys that were garbage where they were at, go somewhere else and become great. Rodney Peete. Look at what he did with Philly compared to what he did with Detroit from being drafted here. I'm not even worried about running backs catching the ball because you know what? We've got a great run defense. Nobody can say we don't. The worst contract I've seen was and is
Jared Goff.
Trey Flowers. Well, I'm going to say at the time, because of who we had coaching, we had to overpay to get free agents to get here. And he was listed as the #1 free agent available that year overall. I'm not going to knock them trying to get somebody that was supposed to be good and that just didn't work out. But I think being here under Patricia ruined Trey Flowers. That's just my 2 cents. He was a good player. He played great for New England. And he started out playing great here that first year. It looked like he was going to earn every bit of that contract. Does everybody remember how he started out? We were 2-0-1 we faced the Chiefs. We had that bogus late hit by Tracy Walker where he grazed the front of Patrick Mahomes' jersey on a 4th down they didn't complete, which gave him a first down. And then we ended up losing that game on the next play because the running back ran right through everybody. Kareem Hunt at that time, if I remember right. Fast forward to the very after the bye week to the next game, Monday in Lambeau. 2 of the worst hands to the face calls anybody's ever seen. Even the announcers were saying it was atrocious. And missing the face mask call on the center who dragged that Sammy Lee Hill down or Kerry Hyder, one of the two. Got dragged down by the face mask on the same play, which meant offsetting penalties. You at least should replay it, not a penalty to one team or the other. And that cost us a game because that was back-to-back touchdowns given up. He goes, yeah, that was bullshit. And after that, Trey Flowers never played the same. He was ruined. That got in his head. Eric Dalton, Petrasha's legacy is ruining defenders and bankrupting all-you-can-eat buffets. Man, you've had some tonight. I think you're at +5 now. When Stafford broke his back, that season was over. We were 3-3-1 and finished like 3-12-1. Yep, exactly. That was the Hail Mary. It wasn't a Hail Mary. It was a crossing route to God, who was it? Mercedes Lewis that went the distance that time. I might be wrong, but I don't believe Trevor Lawrence should have gotten his big contract. 100% he shouldn't have. Von Doom and I have talked religiously about how Trevor Lawrence's numbers look a lot more like Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is called a bust, and Trevor Lawrence is called a top 10 quarterback. I don't get it.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Daniel Jones has won a playoff game.
So has Trevor Lawrence.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Same year you guys did. He did it versus the other fraudulent team in the AFC, the Chargers.
No, he didn't. You like that?
That carry on fumbled against KC, that bullshit too, JB. Yeah, 100%. Because think about it. They beat us, and we were the first team in Mahomes' history to hold him without throwing a touchdown pass. And Tampa Bay used that same defense against them in the Super Bowl that year and beat them. Sound.
Speaking of Tampa Bay, did you hear how Baker said it feels great not being shipped around like a bunch of dirty laundry for once?
Yeah, he said it feels great. Let's say that quote exactly how he said it. Baker Mayfield, it feels great to not be passed around like the roofied girl at a frat party.
That is something he would say.
I'm glad we can go toe to toe with Green Bay the past few years. They aren't the kings of the North no more. And Buddy Kincaid said he did. And Eric Lawrence got the locks of love bonus. Sunshine. And
Sunshine.
now that our Vikings guy is gone, I could put this up. I know why the Vikings don't eat cereal. Because every time they get close to the bowl, they choke. Not funny?
Yeah, it was funny.
You giggled at that one. I heard you.
Choking for 50 years.
That being said, there have been some great players out of Vikings camp. I'm not going to take anything from them. Alan Page, Paul Krause, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Dante Culpepper before he donned a Lions uniform. Jordan Addison is an idiot.
Jared
Great.
Allen, Steve Hutchinson,
Yeah, there's a lot of them. We can keep going, probably.
Pat and Kevin Williams, two of my favorite defensive tackles in history.
Mhm. Are the rumors true that Caleb and Trevor are friends? Probably. I will say Trevor does resemble his girlfriend a little bit.
Dude, he does. It's scary. Trevor Lawrence and Caitlin Clark. I'm pretty sure they're the same person.
Nah.
Never seen them in the same place twice. That Adam's apple is very distinctive.
And I haven't seen you and Jay Glazer in the same place twice.
Well, mind your business.
But I know you don't have Jay Glazer money.
You're damn right I don't. I wish I did. I'm funnier than him, so I don't know why I don't have Jay Glazer money.
There we go.
God, I just want to punch him in the ear.
Matt Everflus?
Dude, just look at that picture again and tell me you don't want to just punch him right in his ear.
Ryan, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. To see you put my favorite acronym up on the board. SKULL. What does that stand for?
Stay keep on losing.
Oh, no pun intended. I expect the North to be competitive. I think at worst somebody's going to have 8 wins at the bottom, and whoever's at the top will have 12 or 13. What's happening, Coach B? Well, we talked about how yesterday at the vigil for Kyrie was marred by 2 people being shot. Well, when gunfire broke out at the Somber event, and how it's such a tragedy for the Vikings fans that you guys aren't catching a break at all, even in the same off season. It's awful. And that led to another discussion about the downfall of America, which is true. Hey, RXJ, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it clean. You don't hear Vikings fan base, but man, do you hear the Packers and Bears? Yep, I understand.
Because the Vikings know they have JJ.
Yeah, the Vikings have JJ, Jordan Addison, and then after that you got TJ Droppinson. I mean,
They got McCarthy, they got Jefferson. They know what they have. They can't talk yet till they see what McCarthy develops into, though.
Right. And
I think they're more intelligent than Bears and Packers fans, so they're keeping their mouth quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a quarterback that was only good for 7 games and got them to the playoffs, and on the back of a running back that absolutely trounced the team they played in the first game of the playoff.
Oh, so Jared Goff when he was with the Rams. Gotcha.
What happened the next year after that year? They switched running backs, and what happened? My fault. Forgot this is Roku. Hi, kids. Make sure you aren't late to class. Go Lions.
It's 10:30 at night. Them kids should be asleep.
Yep. Darren Ryan, I would like us to bring in Lattimore or Gilmore. Is Lattimore actually? Yeah, the Jackrabbit's a free agent, right?
That was Janoris Jenkins.
Oh, Lattimore's still on.
He's still a Saint. Yeah, they can't cut him with his contract. They'd have to trade him.
Yep. Vikings, we built our team from the tight end down. Fisting, they are going to get the position tight end now known as wide receiver. Oh my God, Eric Dalton. Trade for Lattimore. There's other guys out there. I know you don't want Xavier Howard because he's got a sex scandal legally he's dealing with. But you could also go for Adoree Jackson. I just think he needed a change of scenery.
He didn't even have a bad year.
Right. Until the Bears beat Green Bay, then they can brag a little. Absolutely.
No. That not even. The Bears can brag all they want because realistically, they probably had the greatest team in NFL history. The '85 Bears.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying. Horrible quarterback, but the rest of that team was great.
Exactly. Okay, so the Green Bay may have the most championships, the 13 they have there. But you know what? 85 Bears. 72 Dolphins. Who cares? Every team's got something somewhere along the line that they can brag about and be proud about. Well, outside of like the Texans and the Browns.
And the Jag.
Yeah, and the Panthers.
Simmons has not been signed because he wants to have a record-setting deal. He came out and said he's not willing to take a discount to go somewhere.
He said he could be the missing piece to someone. He's going to end up taking a discount eventually to get signed. Jamal Adams just took the vet minimum to get signed.
Where'd he go?
I don't remember. I was reading it earlier. I think he may have went back to Seattle, actually. The 2008 Lions are the best team. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, that's funny though. I'm looking up the Jamal Adams signing.
I should have made myself like some frozen pizza before we came on.
Oh, he signed with the Titans.
I don't hate that. You know, I was reading something today about freaking the Giants defense. Bobby Okereke saying how the defense now under Shane Bowen, everything is like surgical. Everyone has, it's like a methodical way he does things. He plays analytics with when he's blitzing, who he's blitzing, and everything like that. Whereas Wink Martindale is just blitz all the time. He thinks the team will actually be more productive in being more selective with their blitzes.
And Darren Ryan says, I like it. He's going to be with Snead in Tennessee. I think the only thing that I have said about Jamal Adams is when he has to be the man back there, it's hard for him to be the man by himself. He has to have a decent free safety or a corner that he's backing up because he's not as great in coverage as everyone thinks. Go watch. He doesn't do well in in-air ball defense. What he does well is hitting somebody after they catch the ball and making it separate from him.
He is a linebacker playing safety. That is what he is.
Yep, and he needs to stay healthy. Yeah, exactly. The Bears have lost every game to Green Bay the last 3 years. If you're just going back as far as Dan Campbell's been here versus
I'll
Green
be
Bay.
right back.
Go ahead. Versus Green Bay, the best part is Minnesota and Lions have the same record, pretty much. It's the Bears that haven't beat them at all. Hello, well, that last comment slipped by you. Yeah, I know. It don't hey. Snead had the sniffles in the Lions game. Marvin Jones was working him. I know. Oh. I haven't heard anything about Justin Simmons could be a Lion. Buddy Conquito says thanks, JB. Wow. This is fun. I like this show. I like it because I try to dispel rumors, the ones that I see. I haven't heard anything about Justin Simmons coming to the Lions, and I check that. I check the Lions site more than I do anything to see what Tim 20 Man's saying because he's right there. And Buddy Conquito says I love being a Lions fan. There was an awful rumor that was written, and when I saw the trade, it makes the other two teams better and us worse, and I don't see that happening. And that was the whole. If Simmons want to ring chase and come to Detroit, I'm all for it. Bears can brag about Soldier Field being renamed the Maybelline Nail Center. Oh, that one. Yeah, that could be funny. Went through a lot of awful seasons. We all have. Vikings fans have had their down years as fans too. If you got to remember, the 80s were awful in the NFC North or NFC Central Division. We won it twice. We lost because Eddie Murphy shanked a field goal in Candlestick versus San Francisco in the playoffs. And that was when Billy Sims was in his prime and still going hard at it. Was that 84 or was it 85? I can't remember. Had that horrible loss to Washington after we trounced Dallas. You're absolutely right, Darren Ryan. As a Vikings fan, we need to bring in a corner that can turn things around in this corner room. We haven't had a legitimate corner since Xavier Rhodes. Hey, remember, Jamie, you got to say it in the voice when the Bears got brought up. Go Bears in the Caleb Williams voice. I still wear my Lion shirt. I have lots of Lion shirts. That's most of my wardrobe right now. But at the same time, let's put it in perspective. I'm in the media room. The Chicago reporter tells Caleb Williams to say, go bear down. He leaned down and he grabbed that mic with his pink fingernails showing and said, go Bears. And that was the moment that LGBTQB1 stuck. I got to get that jersey before we play them for Thanksgiving. Mike Morris Law Firm. If you suffer from Lions PTSD, you may qualify for compensation. Ask Millen for the tone at the tone. Beep. And I still wear my hats too. I just didn't wear one tonight because I got a nice fresh shave going on. Clean myself up a little bit. Anytime I come up with a new show, I get cleaned up again. Joe Mama says you can qualify for compensation as well, Eric. Eric is a Lions fan. He was making a joke. I bought a kick-ass long-sleeve crew neck from Carl Eller's shop website that has the purple people eaters logo on it. That's badass, Darren. Bear down proves Caleb is a fit. I think I figured out why Caleb Williams didn't say bear down. He's used to hearing it from his girlfriend when she begs him. I heard you laugh when you came in. You love it when I say that crap, don't you, about Doom?
What? That he gets pegged by his girlfriend?
Yeah, when I said that's why he wouldn't say bear down, is because he's used to hearing that from his girlfriend.
It might be. I don't know, man. I honestly don't care. If the guy can play ball, I don't care what he does in his bedroom. I don't care whose balls he plays with there. As long as he doesn't ruin a parlay for me, we're good.
I'm trying to think of the town that I'm thinking of down there. Buddy Conquito, I used to live in the area of Michigan where all there was Chicago and Notre Dame fans. The town starts with an N. It's at the border. So we're there by St. John's and stuff. Niles, Michigan. I see the Lions winning the division and two teams from the North being wild cards. I agree, but there is one thing that I have that you'll agree with, Darren. It's my favorite sponsor in the world. Even Dan Leonard loves this sponsor. I'm going to put it up here. It's FTP, which stands for Fornicate the Packers for the Pride. If you hate the Packers as much as we do, put an FTP in the chat. It is
Watch
Niles.
on Monday night, and I'll tell you exactly what that really means.
Right, because then we're not on Roku on Monday night, so he can let it rip. Yeah, it is. This video is going to be fun this year, and lots of competition. I can't wait. Darren Ryan puts it there.
Hey, serious question. How much trouble will we get in if I let that rip?
We haven't said it once this show, have we?
I don't know. I don't think.
I don't think anybody's dropped one yet. Drop one F-bomb. Say it the way you say it.
Fuck the Packers.
That being said, my other sponsor, of course, is and always will be Brandon Service, right at the corner of Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road, Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan, where the tires are good, but the water's shit. If you need new tires, please give us a call at 810-233-8230 to Upper George Red or myself, Jeremy, and we will get you your quote for brand new tires. Used tires start at $40. Even St. Joseph and Benton Harbor. Yes, I do know the area. Kayla Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Revive TV Funhouse, Ace and Carrie. He goes, this is great. I like to have fun on my show. I mean, if I do talk crap, I try to do it in a way that's funny. I try not to get personal. I try not to do the personal attack. Sometimes Dorn gets under my skin too much because he knows more about soccer than he does football.
Well, most Swift fairies do.
Yep. Because Austin neglected to pay his bills, so therefore I'm not doing his ads. He still does a good job. He's still up there in Saginaw, and I'm going to leave it at that.
You know, man, Darren should see one of the shows when I'm on one of my tirades.
Oh, yeah. When he's on a tirade, oh, my goodness.
Ain't nobody safe at that point.
All you got to do is say the wrong name at the wrong time, and you get into his crosshairs, and it's over.
Ask Will.
Don't ever mention we are all here just to crack jokes. He goes, I'll tune in. Yeah, Monday nights is fun. That's the Monday mashup. And all we do is talk Lions and Giants. The first hour, we went through both divisions' main news stories that I saw. All good, JB. We can start a new saying for a new sponsor someday, too. Big Johnson Mud and Tires. Nothing like a little mud on the truck.
Ain't nothing wrong with playing in the mud.
Amen. Woo! Good morning, ladies. Oh, sorry.
Hey, wife.
Oh, Mrs. Winters, go ahead.
You're goddamn right.
And you're going to like it.
Hey, man, we don't judge here.
Yes, I'm working on for every team in the North, a funny sponsorship. We're going to have them all. It's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a Big Johnson to shop at. Big Johnson, who loves you, baby? Woo! Like Ric Flair at the end. RXJ, crack skulls on Sundays. FTPL, with the break a nail bears. Minnesota is illegally allowed and handicapped spaces with Darnold. Wow. That's a +2. You can do a lot of good things in the mud. That's what she said.
You save yourself a lot of child support.
Start a sponsorship. If you're ever in Wisconsin and need cheerleaders, check out Heifer Farms, a Packers delicacy. +1 to Darren. Let it all hang out at Big Johnson's. Welcome to Bear Down Hunting Camp at Rice Lake, Canada. All you got to do to let somebody know you shot one is scream out, Bear down.
What are you talking about rolling around in the mud? He likes getting stuff stuck in his mud.
Yeah, he likes stuff stuck in his mud. Ask his girlfriend. She knows all about pegging.
He should have went to the south where they have tractors.
And I'm not talking about the non-Christian religion. I'm talking about pegging, not pagan. Big difference. At Big Johnson's, we don't care for heifer farms. Natural lube yells from the mountaintops.
What? Here.
At news from the neck, it is the newest superhero to hit the action figure market. It's Hot Tour. Girl, spit on that thing, action. All our pillows are bite tested for stay at Big Johnson's. Yes. Caleb's girlfriend is named Megan JB. Oh,
Now, what happens if he comes out and has a CJ Stroud type year? You're going to be asking Jared Goff to get pegged.
oh. I'll be asking Jared Goff to quit. At Heifer Farms, they can't seem to master the Hawk Tua. Yeah, because most of them have bigger mustaches than the guys on the football team. It gets in the way of that coming right out.
This really freaking rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's fun though. Are you not having more fun than you usually have on here?
Yes, sir.
But we have made it to the end of the second hour of the show. I don't know if anyone has anything coming up next on the Huddle Sports Network, but I will get out on time. I will say the same thing I say all the time. We can talk crap about each other's teams, but let's not make things personal because that's when things get out of hand and people get hurt. But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Ryan Poles, Hot Tuas on poles. Meanwhile, the New York Rogers is wrestling with his backup to bring back Green Bay flashback. Women shave them mustaches. Yep. But at the heifer farm, they all came out of Texas, and the only thing that came out of Texas is steers and queers, and I don't see any horns on them heads.
Remember, ladies, keep it clean.
And I think tomorrow night I might read that children's book that's called Mary's Beaver Needs a Barber. Oh boy. Yeah, there's some good ones. We need a comedy hour, JB. I know. That's kind of what this has been comedy hour. It's a 2-hour show weekly. If I don't have enough guests and we burn through the topics fast, it'll become comedy hour. That's what we're gonna do. Caleb wears waist horns.
Yeah, you want to grab his waist horns.
Oh my.
God, he was obsessed with Caleb. He in love with that man.
Buddy Conquito says, I like this. Oh, it has been into me. We need an NFC North comedy hour. Well, that's what the 10 to an 11 o'clock hour is going to be. The first hour is going to be news, and it's going to be all comedy after that. Because you know what? It's all about having fun. And the Lions have been the joke of the NFC North since it became the NFC North. We've heard it so many times. It's nice when other teams are recognizing the fact that we look good for a change. So it's going to be news for an hour, jokes for an hour. Caleb's seat on the bench has a horn.
Man, no, RXJ, get it right. Caleb's seat on the bench is really a Sibian from the Howard Stern show.
I know. You're wrong for that. Football season is going to be awesome. But this mostly will be an off-season show. Once the season starts, I don't think anybody wants us to be live during actual football games. Do you want to be live during actual football games, Von Doom, or do you not care?
I don't care, man.
Okay, then we'll go live. It's settled. It's going to run all year. We are going to fight with the Sunday night football game. If the Lions are on, I know none of you will be here.
Sure they will. I'll give a live play-by-play. And when Goff throws in an incomplete, you hear some real fun stuff.
Goff will throw an incomplete pass. There is not a single quarterback who's perfect.
It's easier than a $2 incomplete week.
I know, that's what I was laughing at.
Wow.
He's talking about Paul Merkel, the guy that I call Dorn Jr. and Notre Dumbass Jr. because he's just as accurate on his predictions for the Bears as Dorn is about his predictions about any other team than the Packers.
Forms. Cheerleaders all got yeast infections. Did they run a brewery too? Because they could really double up on that.
Yeah, because all they need is the hops then. That being said, guys, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. This has been a blast. That's what it's going to be, is an hour straight of jokes every Sunday from 10 to 11 and news from 9 to 10. Have a great night, everybody.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community, make sure y'all go check out New Cat Body by Jeremy.